All right, thanks everyone. This is November 17th, our regularly scheduled board meeting, and we will call the meeting to order at 5:01. We can establish quorum. We have Carlin Fryer, Sarah Falkenberry, Dallas Pipes, Dr. Kraft, myself, Christy Schmidt, Courtney Daughter Bruce, Rich Senna, and Garrett Wilson. We will convene in closed session to discuss A, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, deliberation regarding matters related to employment, appointments, resignations, terminations, retirements, and reassignments. B, pursuant to Texas Code 551.074, discussion of roles and responsibilities of board members. C, pursuant to Texas Code 551.0821, deliberation of personally identifiable information about a public school student. And D, pursuant to Texas Code 551.072, discussion of purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. So at this time at 5:02, we will gather in closed session. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. We are just reconvening from closed session, and it is 6:29. We have all of our members of trustees present, along with myself and Dr. Kraft, so we are ready to begin.
Wonderful. Good evening. At this time, please rise for the presentation of colors by the Bernie ISD Junior ROTC Color Guard.
Colors. Hope. Present. Colors.
Please join our students from Currington Elementary School and Fabra Elementary School as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. To the flag of the United States.
Colors. Post. Order. Colors. Colors turn. March.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence and prayer. Thank you, and please be seated.
Hello, welcome.
Madam President and our trustees, our students from Currington Elementary School and Fabra Elementary School have some great questions for you this evening.
Hi, I am Parker Sanders, and I am a member of the Fabra Elementary Early Act Club. I know that being a school board member is a volunteer position. In what other ways do you volunteer or help the community?
That's a very good question. I feel like we have a lot of volunteers on our board. Would anybody like to share?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'll share. So I love volunteering in our community. It's actually one of my favorite pastimes to do. My daughter and I participate on the National Charity League. That is a mother-daughter organization that we get to go volunteer at different places, from the vault to the Kendall County Women's Shelter to Cibolo Nature Center and Charming Pet Rescue. We've only come home with one more dog than we should have. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed getting out in the community and getting to know other organizations and partners. Do you volunteer in the community anywhere?
Yes, because I am in Early Act, and as the vice president of Early Act, we go to Hill Country Daily Bread, and we go to nursing homes, and and we do Christmas caroling there.
Oh, I bet they love that. That's amazing that you do that.
Parker, you know, like everyone on this board, I love doing volunteer work in our community. I teach Sunday school at my church to third graders, some from Fabra, some from Currington. I'm a Rotarian like you are, and I write a column for the Bernie Star every month or so. And I'm in the mentor program, and I think you know that because we had lunch today. So, and I love being a granddad to 2 future Bernie ISD students that I want to start taking to games soon.
Thank you so much for your question, and thank you for serving.
Hi, my name is Grace and I am a member of the Fabra Student Council. I have a question. My question is, if you could trade places with a student for one day, what grade level and what school would you choose and why?
So I can answer, and anyone else is welcome to jump in as well. I would have to say kindergarten. I feel like I got robbed a little bit because I didn't go to pre-K and our kindergarten was only half day. So I ended up teaching pre-K for a little while, but I think I would want to go back to Currington where all 3 of my kids went and try kinder because you get to eat snacks and take naps and get to color and centers, right? Everybody loves centers. No naps. I think I love centers and just getting to be creative and getting to play all those games. And I think kinder would be a great, in phonics, you get to learn about your letters and all your colors. So I'm going to choose kinder. What's been your favorite grade level so far?
My favorite grade level has been 3rd grade so far.
Awesome. Do you know why? Is there anything special?
Well, I thought the STAR test was going to be a lot harder, but it was so much easier than it was going to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ava, and I'm the CES Student Council President. My question for you is, recess helps kids build creativity, imagination, and socialization. Our recess is only 20 minutes long. Would it be possible to have a longer recess?
I love the questions tonight. Can I take this one?
Sure, absolutely.
Because I would always answer that athletics or recess was always my favorite. So I understand, Ava, your question, and it's a good one, right? So there's a lot of things that goes into putting together your school day. So I do see the benefit of recess because I feel like you would maybe take things, maybe you're worried about something in class and maybe turn things into a positive just because you're exerting energy, you're building friendships, you're getting exercise. So I see the positives, but when we build school days, we think about instructional time, your scheduling of your classes. So I think it's something to consider. I think it's good to take it. Maybe we can discuss that for sure because I do see positives, but there's so much into building your school day. But you bring up a really good question, and I'm with you. I think it should be longer.
Do you still get extra recess on Fridays?
Only if we finish all of our schoolwork.
Awesome. Very
That's
good.
incentive recess, right? That's good.
I think you're onto something there because I advised a student at Fabra a couple of years ago, same thing, we need more recess. Tell you what, if you get like 100% attendance for the week or something like that, you get an extra 10 minutes. And they did it 3 weeks in a row. So, I mean, incentives work. It's a good thing.
Then everybody wins, right, Ava?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I know tonight's your mom's 50th birthday. All day it's been her birthday. So thank you for spending your evening with us tonight, Ava. Great question.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Preston, and I'm the CES Student Council Vice President. How will the Vader being passed help students at CES?
Great question. Dallas? Mr. Carlin? I heard a voice.
I heard you heard a voice. I think that the Vader being passed is going to help every single one of the campuses, or we know it's going to help every campus. And so one of the things that we started off in this process when we were talking about doing the Vader was, how do we best impact our students and their outcomes? And that's retaining and recruiting the best teachers. So if we can keep teachers and we can retain the ones that we have that are great, and we can recruit new ones as other ones retire, that just increases your educational capabilities at your schools, and it just goes up from there.
Sir, thank you.
Very good question. Thank you.
Let's give them a round of applause. At this time, I'd like to invite Madam President, our trustees, and Dr. Kraft to join me on the floor for our commendations. We're excited to celebrate several outstanding students and staff this evening. We'd love for you to stay until the end so every honoree feels that Bernie love and support. Thanks for being here tonight. Our first one, we're thrilled to announce that Stephanie Gomez from Bernie Middle School South has been selected as a president-elect for the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. This is a statewide honor, and her selection as a leader means she's investing time, energy, and heart into supporting administrators across the state. Congratulations, Mrs. Gomez. We are so proud of you. Now let's give her a huge round of applause. Congratulations to Bernie High School student Braden Scott for being selected as a cross-country state qualifier. Thank you for your exceptional dedication, performance, and mental toughness among the best runners in Texas. Let's give Braden and his coach a round of applause. We're so excited to share that Voss Middle School varsity orchestra students were recognized as outstanding in the 2025 All-Region Philharmonic Orchestra. These students have earned this distinguished honor through competitive auditions, and they stood out among the top talent across the region. Congratulations. We are thrilled to announce that the Champion High School boys water polo team won the bronze medal at state. Reaching the state level is already elite, and earning a bronze medal confirms that your team excelled under pressure against the toughest opponents across the state. Congratulations for this well-deserved medal. Let's give the coaches and teams a round of applause. All right, this is a night of amazing athletes. We're excited to share that the Champion High School girls water polo team won the bronze medal as well at state, proving that your team is one of the very best in Texas. Your grit, teamwork, and determination throughout the season earned you this medal, and we couldn't be more proud. Congratulations on your achievement. Let's give them a huge round of applause to their coach and the team. We are beyond thrilled to announce that the Champion High School girls cross country team finished in the top 10 at state. Your dedication, endurance, and teamwork carried you to the top and made your campus and our community incredibly proud. Congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. We're excited to announce that the Champion High School boys cross country team placed in the top 10 at state. Your hard work, perseverance, and team spirit have truly put your team among the elite. Congratulations to these outstanding runners. Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Kraft, it is an honor to recognize this month's Core Values in Action recipients. We are so proud to welcome Champion High School senior John Casares to our meeting tonight. John is receiving a Board of Trustees commendation for his embodiment of our core value, commitment to service. At this time, Dawn Adamak, Director of Fine Arts, would like to share a few words right after your photo.
When John heard about the death of a fellow high school student, Southwest ISD's Angelina Terrazas, John's heart immediately went out to her family. He asked his own parents if they could purchase groceries to help her family out during this time of mourning. Then he got a brilliant idea to start a GoFundMe and share Angelina's story more broadly. Over the past week, John's efforts have raised just under $10,000. He presented representatives from the Terrazas family with a check on Thursday night at the Champion versus Southwest ISD football game. John, thank you for inspiring all of us with your incredible generosity. We are so proud of you, your accomplishments, and the person you are. You have represented Bernie ISD beautifully, and we wholeheartedly thank you for that.
In addition, we are proud to recognize Isaiah Galt for exemplifying Bernie ISD's core value, commitment to service, and Gary Price for exemplifying Bernie ISD's core value, respectful relationships. Our coordinator of safety and security, Michael Davis, will say a few words right after their photo.
Oh, perfect. Hold on just a second, y'all. So my name is Michael Davis, and I work in the Safety and Security Department with these two fine gentlemen. It's been an honor for me to come up here. I want to say a few words about the core values that we do have up in here. Each day, the BISD Safety and Security Department, we work to go and strive to go ahead and make the schools safer so that we can all learn and grow and thrive. And that's just exactly what these two gentlemen do. These two core value recipients are here because we're able to honor them. First, Isaiah, you are a team player. Everybody loves what you do. He's got a diverse background in the military. He comes to us from California. His children went to school here too. And now he works in our threats intelligence specialist where multiple streams of information come in. And then he puts it all together and makes sense of it so that we can have this framework for safety and security. He's the type of guy that you can go and ask if you can do anything, and he'll go out and he'll figure out a way to do it, process it, and make it happen. And he's got a great rapport with students as well. He'll come away with students and he'll see one is struggling, and he has a great rapport with them that when he leaves, they know that he can trust them, they trust him, and he walks away with, or the student does walk away with lifelong lessons about that. Gary works with us over there at the security guard for BISD and the Champion High School. He's been there for about 6 years now. And he's got a great rapport too as well with the students for commitment and also relationship building. All the students know him, they like him, they love him. A couple of weeks ago, we had a football game where there was a student up there that was creating a little bit of a disturbance. And Gary reached up there and flagged him down to come down, and all the staff was going, Gary, Gary, Gary. And that's one way that we help to create this school safe, is just with that type of relationship building that we do. So for both of y'all, thank you very much from the bottom of our heart.
This concludes our commendations for this evening. Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Kraft, if you would please make your way back to your seats behind the dais.
Such a bummer, and they like take off, you know. Yeah.
All right, tonight's Bernie Education Foundation Wow moment takes us to Champion High School, home of the Chargers. Thanks to a BEF grant, students are enjoying a really cool hands-on automotive learning experience at their campus. Let's check out the video.
Hi, my name is Will.
And I'm Bowden.
And welcome
to Champion High School. Today's wow moment will be in Mr. Liberty's classroom, where students are learning about future driving skills.
So the automotive department, we received a grant for $27,000 from the Bernie Education Foundation for 3 ATEC electrical training boards, so the students can practice their electrical diagnostic work. We would like to thank BEF and all of their donors for making this grant possible.
Thank you for supporting every student, every teacher, and every school in Bernie ISD.
Thank you for celebrating these moments with us.
Thank you, Ms. Reyna. All right, up next we have visitor comments and testimonials. The board encourages comments about the district from citizens of the district or from district employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so at this time. The board asks that each participant's comments pertain to public education and be no longer than 3 minutes. The overall time limit for comments will be 30 minutes. Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on our agenda. If an issue is mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion of the issue until the appropriate time during the meeting. The board encourages the public to discuss concerns with an appropriate administrator who has authority to address the concerns. Concerns should be expressed as soon as possible to allow early resolution at the lowest possible administrative level. Finally, please be aware that the rules of decorum will be enforced during the public comment period and throughout the meeting. Disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. Those who choose to engage in disruptive behavior may be asked to leave. Each participant is legally responsible for the content and consequences of his or her own statements. Copies of our district policies on public participation in meetings can be found on our website. And first we have Mr. Shane Wilson.
Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Kraft, thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Shane Wilson. I'm principal at Bernie High School. Tonight I want to express, on behalf of every teacher and staff member at Bernie High, our sincere gratitude for your extraordinary leadership in spearheading the successful Vader vote. The victory belongs to you and the district. This measure came at a critical moment with rising cost and intense competition for high-quality educators. The Vader was not just helpful, it was essential. We are deeply appreciative not only of your bold vision, but also of the countless hours each of you spent informing, engaging, and encouraging our community. The strong voter turnout we saw is a testament to that work, and as Dr. Kraft often reminds us, a defining part of the Bernie advantage. As a high school principal, I know firsthand the impact that $4.8 million in the annual operating budget will have. Student success is our core mission, and sustaining achievements like our 99% graduation rate, our 95+% CCMR rate, and our district's TEA A rating depends on keeping exceptional people in their roles. This Vader directly supports that goal. More than 80% of the new revenue is dedicated to compensation, including raising our starting teacher salary to $60,000 and improving pay structures for teachers, nurses, and counselors. We are also grateful for the increases to our minimum wages for our auxiliary staff and our paraprofessionals, which affirm both their dignity and the importance of their work at our schools, and the additional district contribution to employee health care premiums, which provide meaningful, lasting support for all our people. I want to especially thank you for including stability measures in this plan. Retaining highly skilled special education staff has been a challenge, and the stipends dedicated to these roles will finally allow us to provide the consistent, high-quality services our students deserve. Your leadership and tireless advocacy have secured a stronger, more competitive future of Bernie ISD. On behalf of our campus and our community, we thank you for doing what needed to be done.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Next, we have Miss Becca Resop.
Madam President and members of the board, thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Becca Resop. I'm the assistant principal at Herf Elementary. When my family moved to Bernie 2.5 years ago, we were thrilled to find our dream home in such an amazing town. As a teacher, I wanted nothing else but to work and grow the community that I now called my home. While I was fortunate to receive the same day-to-day pay from my previous district, unfortunately the cost of the benefits in BISD reduced my monthly take-home by over $300, which for my family of 5 was about a week's worth of groceries. Soon it'll be more than that, given that my son is growing. In the end, I took the position with a decreased pay so that we could actively be a part of our community with our children, rather than spending our free time driving to and from my previous district in San Antonio. As a parent, you all know that we want better for our children. As an educator, we also want better for our students. As an administrator, we want better for our staff. I want to thank you for working tirelessly to make it easier for our future and current employees to stay in Bernie without having to weigh the pros and cons between a week's worth of groceries and working in the community that they love. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Miss Sammy Gillette.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, and Dr. Kraft. My name is Sammy Gillette, and I'm the principal at Civil Creek Elementary. I would like to thank each of you for your time and dedication to the voter-approved tax ratification election. Because of your commitment to the welfare of your students and your teachers, you advocated for more funding of our schools through the Vader election. That decision required courage, and for that, my students and staff are grateful for you. I'm already seeing a significant boost in teacher morale across my campus. As a principal in BISD, I'm tasked with hiring teachers for the classroom. In the last few years, it has been harder and harder to go through the process to retain and hire quality teachers. We go through the process only to find out at the last minute that they've accepted a job in a neighboring district. So many times our first choice candidate will accept a job at a neighboring district because of the pay. So I know that an increase in pay will make our jobs more attractive and easier to hire and maintain top candidates here in Boerne. As the VATER will also make our district more competitive, I'm also excited about the stipends it's going to provide to some of our most skilled teachers, those who work in our special education. We've lost far too many of these talented people in the last few years, and I am hopeful that our campus will be able to maintain the level of service and stability that we're currently able to provide because our team of life skills and special education staff. Thank you for hearing us and doing what needed to be done in order to keep great staff in our district. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Gillette. Next, we have Mr. Coach Blaine Ellis.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Kraft. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Mr. Coach, I love that. I just wanted to take the opportunity to tell you how grateful we are for each one of you and the support that you give each one of us every single day. We talk often about what it requires to have great athletic programs within our district, and it requires 5 things. Number 1 being great players. Number 2, great parent support. Number 3, great coaches. Number 4, great community support. And then great administrative support would be the 5th one. And I think going to the VATER election really showcased those last 2. Just the administrative support we have from you. You all saw a need within our district, took a risk, and found a way to get the job done. And so we feel that support, and we recognize that administrative support and recognize that that's a huge part of having those 5 key components to having successful athletic programs. I also believe that the VATER showcased our community support. Our community came out and they voted in favor, and again, that's a huge morale boost, like you heard before, for our programs, and we do recognize the support that you guys give us, all the effort and time that you spend every single day investing into BISD. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Ellis. Next, we have Miss Rachel Franco.
That felt like a long walk. Okay. Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kraft, and members of the board. My name is Rachel Franco, and I am currently the counseling coordinator for our district. Thank you so much for advocating on behalf of our staff. Boerne ISD instills many lessons in our students throughout their time with us. From kindness and consideration to grit and determination, we support students no matter what they're going through. Counselors play a critical role in this mission. They meet students where they are, help them navigate challenges, and inspire them to believe in the possibilities ahead. From teaching a kindergartner how to make friends to guiding a high school student through college, military, or career planning, our counselors are deeply woven into the student experience. As someone who lives, works, and is a parent in the district, I want to express my sincere gratitude for the work and vision that went into this VATER. I know the process took a toll on each of you, professionally and personally. Your commitment required long days, late nights, and time away from your families. Your dedication showed up in conversations, community events, and in the countless quiet moments of preparation that most people never see. That level of accessibility and hands-on service reflects the heart of our board. I've served BISD as a teacher, a school counselor, and now the coordinator. Watching all of you work tirelessly during this process inspired me on the hard days and the extremely busy ones. Your example reminded me of why we show up for our students, our colleagues, even when the work feels very heavy. Because of your leadership, we will now be more competitive and better equipped to retain our exceptional counseling staff who serve our students every day. Thank you again for your unwavering support of our schools, our staff, and our community.
Thank you, Ms. Franco. Next, we have Mr. Troy Ladiolas.
Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Kraft, thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Troy Ladiolas. I'm the principal of Fabra Elementary School and the proud parent of 3 Bernie ISD students. I've said it many times myself, no one in education does it for the income, we do it for the outcome. We do it because we love kids, we love watching them grow, learn, surprise themselves with what they're capable of achieving. I know this personally. When I made the choice to come to Bernie, I knowingly took a $5,000 pay cut from a neighboring district and paid more for housing. It made 0 sense financially. But I still chose Bernie ISD because of the opportunities this district offers students, including my own children, mattered more than my own path. Across the district, our campuses have done more with less for many years. We all know the incredible achievements and accolades our students and staff have earned despite those challenges. Many tried to frame this vote as being only about money, but we know it's about far more. It's about investing in the futures, both of our staff and our students. It means a lot that our board was willing to face the storm and even the negative backlash from some in the community to get the Vader passed. But it also means even more to see how you pour into our district beyond policy decisions. I myself have personally witnessed you all volunteering time to be a mentor on campus, to read to students, dressing up as Disney characters to make a kid smile, or even serving as the middle school soccer mom to make sure kids have meals for away games. Your involvement goes far beyond an election or a monthly Monday night meeting. Your commitment recognizes the reality of what our staff does every single day. These funds will not only provide financial support, but also much needed resources and support that our staff that will allow our staff to continue helping students achieve at the highest level. I wholeheartedly believe this decision will help us retain more of the incredible staff that we already have, as well as recruit the best when openings are available. And when we keep great people, our students win. So as both a parent and a principal of Bernie ISD, thank you for your leadership, your time, and your unwavering support.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Miss Annie Sider.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kraft, and members of the board. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. Over the past few years, our special education costs have risen drastically. It isn't just because we're serving more students than ever before. It's because of external systems. They have charged the district 3 times what we have budgeted in order to provide state and federal mandated services. By adjusting not only the pay for special education staff, but adding stipends, you've helped us retain and will continue to retain highly qualified staff. Your time you take out of your schedules to show up to activities, to district trainings to support us, and also creating activities or supporting staff to help us when we're going to life skills events where y'all come and support them, creating things where people can sell their items that we do within the district. We appreciate those opportunities. We're so grateful for your support. We've always had your support, but investing in our staff with the funding means so much and will continue to make a real difference. Thank you for your dedication and your support.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all of our comments tonight. All right, next we have consider action, if any, regarding items discussed in closed session, which I believe we don't have any motions coming out of closed session today. Yeah, there's the routine. Could I have a motion to approve the routine personnel items?
Madam President, I move we approve the personnel items as reported in closed session.
Okay. Motion by Carlin Fryer, second by Courtney Daughter Bruce. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the consent agenda. Would anybody like to comment on anything from consent?
Madam President, I would, one of the things that's in the consent agenda, and I don't want to pull it, I just wanted to make a couple of comments, and it had to do with the course catalogs for next year, the next classes and things that we're adding. There's been quite a few publications lately. In fact, I see Mr. Etheridge out here tonight about our welding programs, and I know there's a new ag mechanics program that's on the agenda for tonight to be approved for next year. But I also think it'd be important to kind of talk about and focus on what Mr. Etheridge put in, I think it was on actually social media today, about it's a Bernie ISD program. It's not just a champion program, it's not just a Bernie program. And so, Dr. Kraft, I don't know if you want to elaborate kind of what the basis behind that is, but I love the concept.
Sure, actually, so we are always looking at courses for the next year. So Larissa Flores, our Chief of Instruction, leads the process. She works very closely with our principals, deans, assistant principals, teachers, department chairs, getting feedback. And we know that the welding program at Champion is delivering phenomenal experiences, and we really want to build a strong welding program for all of Bernie ISD, Bernie and Champion. And so that is another step that we're taking in this longer plan for the future of building strong welding programs at both campuses.
Any other comments based on consent?
I just wanted to make a quick comment. I know that when we look at different committees, I mean, it's a group of people that are brought together to make decisions for the good of our students. And I just want to comment and also just share gratitude at the intentionality to include teachers, assistant principals, department chairs in those decision-making processes. So we had situations when looking at curriculum for middle school, secondary, middle school and high school, and even what we were naming them, just making it cohesive, where the courses are advanced now in middle school instead of honors, just to make it seamless. And it comes from feedback from those in the committee. And then also really just looking at the feedback that we were given from the principals, assistant principals, counselors, and department chairs that made the decisions for the sixth grade science and social studies classes. So I think it's important that we listen to teachers that have boots on the ground, and so that we brought in the department chairs and they were able to give feedback and make suggestions for decisions going forward. I think it speaks highly to, we do trust what they are seeing in the classroom, and we want to do what's best for our students. Ultimately, that's our number one goal. So I just want to say I'm just very happy with how that turned out.
Thank you. Also, on that note, the course catalog, I noticed the outdoor PE class that will be starting next year, which will be a great addition. The students will have the opportunity to have water sports and, get in our pool and have hiking experiences and just really have a great outdoor PE class. So really excited about that. All right, if there's no comments, could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Garrett Wilson, second by Mr. Senna. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All approve, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have governance. And before we begin governance, may I please ask for a motion to modify the agenda by moving item 8A to come after 7A before board member reports?
Second.
Harlan Fryer, second by Garrett Wilson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you for that change. So A, we have consider approval of an order canvassing the returns and declaring the results of a voter approval tax ratification election. So at this time, during the authority of the Texas Education Code, we will canvass the results of the November 4th, 2025 tax ratification election for the Bernie Independent School District. I move to adopt an order canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the November 4th, 2025 tax ratification election.
I second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. The voter is canvassed. And next we have Dr. Kraft.
All right, well, thank you so much. I wanted to move my superintendent report up right after we canvass, so thank you for making that slight adjustment. And thank you to all of the folks who shared such heartfelt words with our board this evening. That means a lot. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to be able to share even more about the outcome of this election and what it means for our school districts. But first, I want to start with thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to our community. Thank you to our board. Voter turnout in this election was very strong during early voting and on election day, and we'd like to thank everyone who participated. We are so grateful to the district's voters for supporting this endeavor. It is truly a historic endeavor election for Boerne. This kind of election is a one-time ask for a long-term gain, and the timing of the homestead exemptions was critical in sharing our need and what it meant to the school district and what it meant to the homeowners. And we're so honored by the support of our community. Our goal throughout this whole process has been to safeguard the things that make Boerne ISD exceptional. We call it the Boerne Advantage, and some of you have mentioned that this evening. Our commitment to doing what is right, and we've been doing more with less, it had really reached a critical point. Even after cutting costs by significant amounts, we were unable to increase salaries for staff in a way that would be meaningful and would make us competitive. And so, as many of you know, many of our principals are here in the audience tonight. As soon as the board called the election in August, the superintendent is required to be facts only. And facts only means you can't use emotion or be persuasive and all those things. And so this is my first chance tonight to share a little bit more behind the story about why this was so important. We all know our families expect, our students deserve a highly qualified teacher in every classroom. When I first joined Boerne ISD, every parent group told me they want the best teacher in their classroom. And every staff told me, we love it here, but every year that decision makes it a little bit harder because of the rate of pay. And our staff deserve to be a part of a high-performing team. So historically, Boerne ISD has done more with less, and that was a phrase that really came about from our Budget Strategy Advisory Committee that studied the data for months. And when they looked at our results, being an A-rated district, and when you have seen all those bar graphs I've shown our community, where Boerne ISD was the lowest funded in the San Antonio region, people were scratching their head. How do you do it? How does Boerne maintain an A rating with the least amount of funding? And we took all of the feedback to heart. Last year, this team of executive leaders, we cut $1.47 million from the budget because we knew we needed to make room for classroom expenses and adding teachers and so forth. And when you think about the last 2 years of budgets, in 2024, when I first got here, we had a deficit budget. We ended with a surplus. In 2025, we adopted a deficit budget, and we ended with a surplus. That is unheard of. Thank you. That is a team effort. That is a team effort. But when all of us are watching the headlines in Texas, in San Antonio, you always hear about the difficult financial times facing every public school district. And for our school district to end in a surplus 2 years in a row was phenomenal. And last year, you all know the steps we took to make meaningful steps in compensation for bus drivers, for hourly staff, and so forth. So we're navigating a deficit while also addressing compensation needs. And really, when you look at the last bullet, when we were meeting with our Budget Strategy Advisory Committee, when they were learning about school funding and property taxes and what are ways that a school district generates revenue, they learned about the golden pennies. And Boerne ISD had a few left. And they asked us, why haven't we gone out for the golden penny? We're leaving money on the table. Well, we had a long discussion about all the pros and cons and timing and all those things, but really when you look at what was happening and shaping up in the legislative session, we knew that this was a time that could be beneficial for the school district to explore a tax rate election. So leveraging our local funding opportunity allows us to elevate the profession. And that is one of the priorities of our board, elevating the profession and the bottom line for our employees. So this means a great deal to our school district. But reaching this point takes planning, and it takes intentionality and strategic moves. And so I want to share with our community all the steps that this board took for a year and a half to get us to where we are today. So last summer, probably 6 months after I was here, Mr. Scott and I were brainstorming, well, how are we going to bring together a community group to understand the budget? How do we prepare them for the legislative session? How do we get them the facts? And how do we start to tell our story of what's happening with our finances? So that was called the Budget Strategy Advisory Committee. We met a number of times, half of the year, ended with recommendations to the board. In the spring, that transitioned to advocacy efforts in Austin. Every trustee made one, if not many more trips to Austin. And then we also began our budget workshops. In June, we had our public hearing for the budget, and you all were articulating our strategic financial plan for the future, knowing how best to position the school district around compensation and the priorities of the school district. And that same meeting, you all approved a resolution for an efficiency audit. July 17th, we actually called a special meeting. We were going over legislation, but then we also talked about long-term financial needs of the school district. And we, again, were exploring what are the opportunities that we have available to us that we could leverage at that July 17th meeting. August 18th, shortly after the school year started, we held the hearing for the proposed tax rate. That same night, you all decided to call for a voter approval tax rate election. And that same night, this board adopted a resolution supporting property tax relief through homestead exemptions. We have said many times, school finance is complex. And it doesn't take very long to get lost in the weeds and confused about all the things that go into school funding. And this board has been a champion all throughout the process of sharing all those intricacies with anyone who was willing to grab a cup of coffee with you. In October, we presented the efficiency audit at the meeting. A few weeks prior, that efficiency audit went online. All throughout this process, we have been engaging our community, leveraging our legal options, being financially transparent and ethical, and staying fact-driven. And that was probably one of the hardest points when you want to, teach as a teacher, but to stay facts only really was important for me as a superintendent to make sure I could share the impact of where this would take us as a school district. So here's a slide that we've been sharing in lots of different places. These ideas came from the board through our budget workshop. This was in June. This was in July. Versions of this were shared at convocation, and this led into those priorities that we were talking about as we were preparing and communicating all throughout the Vader. This again just shows our strategic and competitive plan to address how we're going to recruit and retain staff. Now, you've heard it tonight already, but I just want to reiterate, our board leads boldly. Taking a step to call for this kind of election was bold because we have been facing a recapture payment for years. And these golden pennies help bring back dollars into our school district for those many, many years that we were sending taxpayer money back to Austin. We finally had a way to bring back funding. This generates $3 million locally and $1.8 million from the state for a total of $4.8 million. We budgeted these dollars into those specific areas back in June, and we were in a holding pattern while we did what we do best, and that's educate. Because our community has never done an election like this one, education and community engagement was paramount. Persuasion had no place in what we were trying to accomplish, as you saw the district stay extremely fact-based for the entire campaign. Every word I emailed or every message that went out or any word on the slide deck or the website was all reviewed by legal counsel, and we had to stay facts only so that there would be no persuasion. That was very important. Now that we can share how the changes in salary structure will be scaffolded, because now we find ourselves here at this point today. So I want to share with you even more of the facts. Probably the last 3 or 4 months, I've had a lot of fun going to all these places, believe it or not, meeting with so many wonderful community members. Our principals probably won't be surprised, but I tracked everything. So over 70 meetings, we kept track of the size. That's how we knew we were over 2,500 individuals who I personally talked to. We were intentional, facts-driven, and open to answering any questions that came our way. Now, this graphic will look familiar to everyone because there were signs at schools and in the PowerPoint and so forth. These were our 3 priorities that you saw them everywhere that you went. But we had to be facts-based. And when I talked about the first priority, retaining and recruit, 80% of the dollars go to retaining and recruiting. And I will give you the breakdown tonight. I had to keep it high level because I did not want to be accused of being persuasive. 80% of the $4.8 million goes towards retaining and recruiting staff. The other 20% goes towards our academic programming and offsetting replacement facility needs. And now we're proud to share that we're delivering on that promise. Promises made are promises kept in Boerne ISD. That's the way we do business. So the vast majority of the 80%, when you have the $4.8 million, 80% is $3.8 million. And folks along the way, I see lots of pictures. We will make this public, I promise. So along the way, folks were asking me, where's the salary scale? Why can't you share the salary scale? We'd like to know what it is. Well, that is being persuasive. I have to give facts only and keep it at a high level. So really pleased to share where we are today. And you can see here, over 98% of those funds are earmarked for staff increases dedicated to those who directly impact students. As I've shared with so many, the increases in the current pay scale that we were operating under were inconsistent. And many of you know we were consistently in the bottom range and quartile of all the pay scales in the market in the region. Due to the funding formula impact on Boerne ISD for years, we have not been able to measurably increase compensation across the board. And with our community support, we can now address this challenge head on. Here you'll see the breakdown of where the dollars are going. And again, we could not get ahead of the voters. The voters had to understand the facts before we could share fully all the details. And so here you see the breakdown of where the dollars will go. So over 98% again goes to those working on the front lines serving our children. The largest amount, half, $1,993,997 goes to teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors. Teacher stipends total over $427,000. So that alone equates to 61%. Raising the minimum starting teacher pay from $55,142 to $60,000 is going to help us compete in the region. You heard some principals talk about that tonight. The stipends will again help make another impact on hiring and retention. Now I want to point out to this middle section around hourly staff. It was important from all of you when you sat in our budget meetings and you said we need to raise starting teacher pay to $60. We need to be competitive, but we also need to think about our hourly staff. We need to raise the starting pay to $15 for auxiliary and at least $16 to instructional paraprofessionals. Those are your words. These are your ideas. This is your plan. I'm just putting hands and feet to the plan, but I want you to see what it means to our employees. Teacher assistants, paraprofessionals, clerical staff on the campus. Just under $600,000 is going to that employee group. Auxiliary staff, child nutrition, bus drivers, I already said child nutrition, cafeteria staff, custodians, and so forth. We'll see $187,000 of these funds go towards their bottom line. We also set aside $500,000 to increase our contributions to healthcare premiums. We know that we're all facing increased healthcare premiums, and this board has been very strategic and determined to help bring those costs down from our employees. And looking at our professional staff at campus and professional staff at department, there was a raise at the summer of 2%, and then when this passed, this gives an additional 1%. So here you can see the breakdown of where the dollars are going. And let me tell you what's next. So this week I'm meeting with principals in small groups. You already have the calendar invites, so I can share even more with you. but our HR teams and our finance teams have been very hard at work putting this plan in motion. This plan could not go in motion until we understood the outcome of the election. And I'll say it again, no one could get ahead of the voters. And principals, I appreciate all the times that you were fielding questions from teachers who were wanting to get in the weeds and learn more. But again, we could not get ahead of the voters. And so now that we know the outcome of the election, HR and finance have been deep in the data entry and putting the plan in motion. Our employees will be getting an individualized compensation statement in December. And we need some time to put all that stuff together and double and triple check everything. Every employee will see an impact. So in December, our employees will receive 2 checks. They'll receive a check of the back pay because this was all on hold until we knew the outcome of the election, and then they'll receive their new rate of pay in December, moving forward from there. So we have a full communication plan. Y'all are hearing it first. Yay! Congrats. So thank y'all for being here tonight to listen to this firsthand. And again, thank you to our board for your vision and for leading boldly where we knew we had a challenge and we put a plan in motion to address the challenge. And this board, this team of 8, is the team that was able to get our golden pennies for our school district. And we don't have to ask again. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kraft. Thank you, Dr. Kraft. We really did make history. This is so exciting for the legacy of our district. And I just want to thank, Dr. Kraft. You led the charge. You, at your 70, grassroots meetings, and she wasn't alone. She brought Mrs. Jill Runs-Pruitt, Dr. Dominguez, Mr. Scott, technology, a board member too. We're normally at every one of those meetings, so thank you, and especially Dr. Dominguez. You haven't been with us for even a year, and you just really pulled a lot of weight during this election. So I just personally wanted to thank you for all of your hard work and communications. And this team, thank y'all. And I'd love to hear any comments that anyone would like to share.
Yeah, I would like to second, thanks to everybody who put so much time and effort into this. I was continually amazed at, Dr. Kraft and then all the folks sitting here around us and in the back and all these principals and the staff from all the schools that just put in so much time and effort into this. And that really was instrumental in getting this done. And so we're very appreciative of your leadership, especially, and all of y'all as well. Y'all put in a lot of time and effort into this, and it definitely did not go unnoticed. So great job. Yeah, I was thinking about as some of our public speakers were talking, we talk about how we're one of 31 A-rated districts that's been A-rated for the last 6 years in the state of Texas out of about 1,200 districts. And I think about that and I think, wow, we were doing more with less, as we've said. I can only imagine if our staff was doing that before this, I can only imagine what you guys are going to achieve after this. It really is a bright future for Boerne ISD. I think we've got the best team in the state, from the leadership on down to the classroom level. And I just couldn't be prouder of our school district and all of y'all. So.
Yeah, just a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions. A lot of the things that Dr. Kraft, you reviewed are things we've been talking about for a long time, wanting to be able to do. We would advocate in Austin. We worked very hard. Many of us made a lot of trips there, hoping that the state funding formulas would achieve what we had hoped to achieve. And though there was progress, for sure, it didn't achieve fully what we wanted to achieve. And when you're the 9th lowest funded district per pupil in the state out of, like Garrett mentioned, over 1,200 districts, we had to do more with less. And it got to a point where, darn it, if we're one of a few, we're the only A-rated district in San Antonio other than 2 military academies. The only one. Yet our teachers were in the bottom quarter or third of the pay scales in our greater San Antonio area. We thought that was ridiculous and that our people deserved better. And now, due to the Vader and what you shared, Dr. Kraft, I spent time yesterday studying 25 school districts, the 25, 26 pay scales, and I'm confident we will be in the top third, maybe even in the top quarter of districts. So from the bottom to the top, and I think that that's really good progress. And, you know, we also were committed to our hourly workers, our auxiliary workers. And the analogy I would make is like an airplane has 2 wings, and one wing is the educators, it's the teachers, the counselors, the principals, and then you've got the auxiliary workers, the food service workers, the bus drivers, the custodians. If you don't take care of all of them, if you don't take care of your auxiliary workers, and that wing doesn't function properly, what happens to the plane? The plane goes down. You cannot run a school district without good employees in every single department. So this addresses that. I mean, I know our county commissioners court adjusted their hourly pay. Their lowest is higher than anything that you shared tonight. They didn't need to go for a Vader to the public. We did. I want to note that the 5 other school districts in the San Antonio area that had Vaders, they were all unsuccessful for various reasons, but they were all running deficits. And when people said, well, I'm going to vote for a tax increase to reduce a deficit, that wasn't the case with us. We were able to do good things for our staff, our hardworking teachers, our hardworking hourly workers. We were able to do good things for them with this $4.8 million, of which, as Dr. Kraft mentioned, almost 40% is coming from the state. It's kind of reverse Robin Hood. For years, we were giving money to the state, our local taxpayer money going to the state, and now we raise $3 million and they kick in $1.8 million, which results in the $4.8 million. So Garrett came up with that line, right? Garrett was like reverse Robin Hood. So I'll give you credit for it. And other districts in the San Antonio area would run deficits and they would spend money they didn't have. We did not spend money we didn't have. We balanced our budgets. We have 3 months plus a fund balance, which the auditors recommend. We've been financially responsible. We're one of the only school districts in the state to advocate at the Capitol for property tax relief. I myself was invited by the head of the Government Relations Committee, Senator Betancourt, to testify for meaningful property tax relief. And we endorsed that. And so I think we've tried as a board and as a district to balance financial responsibility and being good stewards of the taxpayer's dollar. And I'm so proud of our staff, 6 years in a row, A-rated district. And, districts that we compare ourselves to, whether it's Alamo Heights or Dripping Springs or Lake Travis, they're good districts, but they ain't A-rated districts. They're Bs. Okay, despite Alamo Heights thinks they're the best, but they always think they're the best. We know better, right? We know the truth, but I should not say that, right? That's probably not very politically correct, But in any event, I'm proud of the effort, Dr. Kraft. You led this, and we saw what needed to be done, and it's been done. It's been a long time coming. And another thing, I'm in the employee benefits business, and healthcare in America is ridiculously expensive. It is 2 years ago, we were able to say that over 95% of our employees were paying the same or less for their health benefits than they were 8 years prior. Last 2 years, those things have skyrocketed. And until this year, between what we did initially in the budget and then with the extra money from the Vader, we can now say that, 2/3 of our employees are paying less than $10 more than they were a decade ago. That just doesn't happen in America, but it's happening here because we've been careful with how we spend our money. So good stewardship, I think, is key. Thank you for everything everyone on this dais did, our community members, and we have a good future.
Thank you.
there's been several instances tonight that it's just occurred to me, like, just wish I could give everybody just a big old group hug. Like, it just feels like a family in here. And I say this genuinely, when I ran for the board, it's always been about people, and it will always be about people and relationships. And I have a lot of relationships with several of you, and I'm grateful. And it's an honor to be able to serve in this position, because we do get to make decisions, but we don't take it lightly. I mean, there are things that we talk about, and personally I pray about, and just, that we really want to make sure that we're making the best decisions for our students and our staff and our community. We care about people. This is a people business, and we genuinely care about people. We want all people to win. We want our community to win. And to me, that's why I say it's like a group hug effort. This is us coming together and hopefully honoring our people. I think it's bigger than a Vader. I think it's about establishing a culture of honor, and for our staff to know that we're willing to go to bat and stick our necks out there and educate tirelessly. And I want to say a special thank you to our president too. She took this personally. I mean, she didn't sleep at night because she wanted this to pass, not for her and what it would look like if she passed this, but because she genuinely cares about our staff, all 1,700 staff members. And it's an honor. It's the greatest blessing to be able to sit in the seat and to be able to serve our people that we care about. And that's why I feel so passionate about this Vader. And for me, it's just icing on the cupcake that we're getting to present. And there's so much more that we want to do. This is just the beginning of efforts to show the care and concern that we have for our staff, that we do want to honor you. I just want y'all to know that. Just, it's a heartfelt, I feel so grateful. The day after the Vader, I told Dr. Kraft and our team today, I was so emotional. I was so thankful, and went to a football team dinner, and the coaches ran over, and it's like Christmas morning. Everybody's so excited. And, but I felt like that parent that I just get to sit there and watch kids open presents, because it's a greater blessing for us to be able to honor our staff and be able to get this passed. And we couldn't have done it without our community. And so thank you to all of you for, spreading the word and helping us share and educate. There was things, as Dr. Kraft mentioned tonight, that we didn't want to be persuasive, or we wanted just to share facts. And so we had to be so careful in the way that we shared. But we appreciate our community members that went to bat when we couldn't speak up at meetings or whatnot. But we're just so blessed, and I'm so humbled to be able to serve each one of you and walk alongside each one of you. Thank you for trusting us, and promises made, promises kept. I said we're going to make a t-shirt for our team of 8, because that is exactly what we want to do. We're going to make promises, and we're going to keep promises, and we want this to feel, when you go to work every day, we want you to feel honored and appreciated. You are our treasures, and we could not be the district we are without each and every one of you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I'm really looking forward to December, because I think there's so many of our staff members that may get to see the bigger picture for the first time whenever they get their 2 separate checks. And, those are dollars that go on their bottom line that are going to be, reflected in their teacher retirement system. So I'm just so grateful. And there's people that we haven't mentioned, our BSAC, obviously our Community Leadership Academy, all of our PTOs who invited every one of, Dr. Kraft and all of our PTOs that hosted our meetings. And we had someone running alongside of us that you may or may not have seen, our PAC, and they really led a big charge, and they were working behind the scenes. And Sarah Lynn Wolf and her team, Nicole Gallegos and Rachel Naylor, they did an amazing job supporting you. So I just wanted to have a moment to thank them.
I mean, I feel like this is just a big hug fest, and I really appreciate it. And I'm not good with hug fests, but I want to say thank you to the principals for standing in the gap. There was something said whenever I just got elected, and I didn't know kind of really, what politics really looked like. Now I do. But Garrett said something whenever we were looking at our budget. One, by the way, as a business owner and having a family, whenever you see the first budget report and it's a $5 million red number, that was an eye-opener of like, what did I just sign up for? But yeah, thank you for making that a black number at the end of the day. But Garrett we were looking at, what does our compensation look like? And we were going back and forth, and like, man, we just can't pay, as we were talking about bus drivers, you want to give so much. And I don't feel that, educators will ever get paid probably what they deserve. But Garrett mentioned something that always stuck with me, is paying, we need to be respectful. We need to continue to respect the profession. And that's something I hope that this really does. But man, I got to say, I had a conversation today with my neighbor, and he's like, good job in the Vader. This is a guy who probably would never vote for any tax increase, but he's like, hey, good job in that. I voted for that. I didn't realize my taxes went down. I don't know, is this right? And, I'm a real estate agent, so I'm looking over his taxes, and, absolutely, yeah, your taxes went down. And I don't think people in Kendall County realize that you have a gentleman right over there, Rich Sinna, and our president here. I mean, she wrote a check for a bus to send us to Austin. So, and Rich, how many times did we wake up in the middle of the night to drive to Austin? And if you get me to drive to Austin, you've done something pretty special, because I don't like that place. Sorry, I don't. I drive a big vehicle. But no, I think, looking at it is if Rich doesn't get over 10,000 Christmas cards in his mailbox this year, you're looking at two people that really push to get that tax compression every single time that's available. That's a leading priority for a very, very conservative community. And I think we do a pretty good job of representing that conservative values. And then whenever you have a Vader, there's a lot of hard conversations. I've been shot at most of my life, and I'm used to that. I'm used to going to war and getting shot at and looking for a fight. But I didn't realize politics was going to be the same experience. But the guys I got to work with here, I really appreciate that. I think I'm very, very blessed to be able to work with people that have the right thing in mind, and that's the kids. So, thank you.
Hey, so it's my turn now. I just wanted to thank all y'all out in the audience that work for BIC. Y'all are part of the reason. No, y'all are the reason the Vader passed. It's not anything we did out there advocating, or even though Dr. Kraft worked really hard getting the word out there, it's a testimony to your hard work that you go in every day and make a difference in those children's lives. And our community recognized that. And this was an opportunity, a small opportunity to give back for everything that y'all have done and sacrificed to make such a difference to these children in our community. So thank you for all that you do, because those facts were easy to put out there because y'all have made such a difference. So thank you.
Tough being the last guy of the day over here, man. First, I want to start off just by Dr. Kraft and Christy saying thank you. Y'all led an amazing charge with this. Christy, I saw Ryan here earlier. I think he's maybe left now, but I told him the other night that, no offense to Garrett or Rich, but you're the best president that I've served with in leading this board. And your passion for the community and your passion for the students is amazing. And Dr. Kraft, we couldn't have done it without you. So you sacrificed your time, your family and everything for 70 plus meetings, but the 2,700 people that were touched made a difference. And very, very important. I too am proud of all the accomplishments that our schools have done with our students. We can't have the record that we have, whether it's financial, whether it's 6 A's in a row, all of those things, without what happens in the classroom and touching our students the way you do from an education standpoint that really makes a difference. Dr. Kraft, you were amazing at walking the line of making sure we didn't advocate. And despite all the smoke and mirrors and social media that were, flames being thrown, the truth is there's a community that trusts us, and promises made, promises kept is why. And I think we've proven tonight, or you've proven tonight in your slides, that when we set those priorities in June, we adopted that budget in June, those were the priorities. It said exactly where all these funds were going to go, despite all the smoke. It said exactly what was going to happen, and you've laid that out tonight to show exactly where those funds are going. Promises made, promises kept. Being the only district around San Antonio that passed a Vader, I think somebody said this already, it was huge because it allowed us to continue the successes, not recoup the failures, right? we didn't have to do this for cutting a deficit. We did it so we could better prepare our staff to impact our students. And I think that's huge. Electioneering, there's districts in San Antonio that have been notified by the Attorney General that they crossed the line in advocacy. And so, again, Dr. Kraft, I think it's so important for the community to know that when Bernie ISD says we're going to do something, we do it. We're transparent. We're going to do everything we say we're going to do. And with you at the charge, I'm proud to say I get to serve alongside and with you. Thank you for all you've done.
All right, now you get to hear from the board once more for board member reports. We'll keep them short. Do the low version. Anyone that's prepared can start.
All right.
Thank you for all your comments.
I'll start here at the end. Okay, we had the content filter committee. Thank you, Mr. Babcock, for leading that. This was my first time at this committee. This was actually a great committee. I'll just summarize the meeting notes here. The committee reviewed the content filtering software features and filtering categories used to comply with the Children's Internet Protection Act and board policy. The committee also reviewed staff requests to block 6 websites and unblock 8 websites. The committee subsequently ratified district steps previously taken to block and/or unblock the websites. And so, if you think about this committee, it's very similar to like our library committee, where we've got a group of community citizens and staff that review library books that are in our libraries. This is the electronic version of that, basically. And it was great. I mean, we as a group looked at different websites and discussed them, looked at them in depth, and until everyone was comfortable with having them in front of kids or not having them in front of the kids. And so it was great. I was proud to be a part of it. And I'll let Harlan take the finance. Well, not necessarily in that order. I was just
No, I was going to, for Finance Committee, Carlin, why don't you go ahead and review that?
Do that. It'll be short and sweet, actually. So we met last week. Three items on the agenda. We talked about the results of the annual comprehensive report and the audit, the annual audit process from Weaver. Mr. McCain was here. We're going to talk about that in just a little while. We had a discussion about the annual comprehensive financial report. Jocelyn Baumgardner presented key highlights of that, which we'll see again shortly in the Finance Committee report, or the finance report. And then we're also going to have a public hearing on the first report. So pretty short and sweet. We just got to do a preview last week of what's going to be presented tonight. So.
All right. Well, the best committee out there is the Systems of Care Committee. I'm biased, but it's led by our Chief of Student Support Services, Ms. Krista Pomeroy. Also there at the meeting, great assistants, Ms. Rachel Franco and Ms. Stephanie Bautista. In this meeting, we met November the 6th, and we discussed our district's bullying prevention and intervention guide. Our meeting centered on strategies to strengthen our efforts in preventing and addressing bullying across our district, which is growing. And so I'm thankful for the efforts to address this. A key focus of the discussion was reviewing topics related to bullying interventions. As a committee, we engaged in a collaborative activity, very creative, thank you, Ms. Pomeroy, as designed to clarify the important distinctions between rudeness, mean behavior, conflict, and bullying. The exercise provided valuable insights into how we can better communicate these differences to both students and families, fostering a shared understanding across our school community. In future meetings, we will explore effective ways to involve families in our initiatives, ensuring that parents and guardians have the necessary tools and information to support their students. These topics, particularly the differentiation of behaviors and family engagement, will remain at the forefront of our Systems of Care committee work throughout the school year. Our next meeting is January 29th. Thank you for your work.
Our PTO presidents met on Friday, and they were able to get a district update from Dr. Kraft, and they will be helping us to host District Pi Day on November 20th. which is a very long time Bernie ISD traditions. Looking forward to that. And the next PTO President's meeting will be January the 16th.
I was honored to sit with the Technology Committee on November 4th. The committee reviewed an overview of the PEAMS. I know y'all probably love that. Submission process and procedures, followed by Bernie ISD district campus staff to ensure data accuracy in the annual data submission to TEA. The committee also reviewed the types of training, support provided to campus and district staff with regards to the administration of students testing that takes place throughout the school year. Additionally, the committee reviewed updates on the few technology projects, including multi-factor authentication and a project to help fill empty slots in the existing Chromebook carts in secondary schools. Technology Services is also preparing to start a project to refresh older district network and Wi-Fi equipment. The next meeting is going to be January 29th as well.
All right, that concludes our board member reports. We will move to other reports, and Dr. Kraft did her report, so we'll move to instruction with Ms. Renee Munn.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kraft, and members of the board. Tonight, I bring you early learning updates. All that I will be discussing with you tonight ties directly to our scorecard, under student success, and also talent as it pertains to the professional learning for our staff. Guided by our core values, every student, every day, we emphasize early matters, setting goals and supporting our teachers to ensure our students excel in both reading and math. Our early learning program currently operates out of 18 dedicated units. These units are strategically allocated to meet student needs. We have 3 classrooms dedicated to our emergent bilingual students, providing instruction primarily in Spanish. We have 1 self-contained early childhood special education unit, and in our remaining classrooms are a mixed programming blending early childhood special education, state-qualified pre-K, and our tuition-based program for full-time staff children. And I'm pleased to report that enrollment remains strong and is trending upward. From submitting this presentation to late last week, we now have 271 students enrolled, which is a slight increase from our 269 that we reported at Snapshot last year. Our growth is ongoing with 12 pending enrollments, most of whom are awaiting their ARD meetings. And we also have about a dozen students in the queue waiting for their play-based assessments and reports and ARD meetings to determine whether or not they will qualify for special education services. And we can continue to anticipate sustained enrollment growth, particularly in early childhood special education, as students who qualify can begin services immediately upon turning 3 years of age, no matter where we are in the school year. We also expect continued growth from families moving into the Bernie ISD boundaries. And I want to share a little bit more about our makeup of our classrooms. Approximately 24% of our students enrolled qualified for special education services. 17% of our students are military connected. That's highlighting BISD's role as a designation district for military families, which is very exciting. While about 19% of our students are state eligible as emergent bilinguals, we have seen a decrease of about 50% in enrollment for those participating in our Spanish bilingual program compared to previous years. However, it is important to note that our district is vibrant with over 30 languages spoken across our campuses. Our early childhood programs for qualifying families set students up for a strong foundation for kindergarten readiness. Okay, we have a significant point of celebration regarding our commitment to supporting our valued staff. The passage of HB2 opened the door for our own classroom teachers to enroll as state-qualified pre-K students. And I'm delighted to report a high level of participation. We have 37 teachers' children currently thriving in our pre-K program. We made a commitment to offer placement to all state-eligible 4-year-old children, and we are successfully fulfilled that pledge. This initiative has not only supported our teachers, but has also resulted in a significant enrollment boost, increasing staff participation in early childhood by 18%. As our enrollment continues its upward trend, we are proactively scaling and refining our systems. Through our strong ECSE 20 partnership, we have developed comprehensive guidelines for our physical learning environment, ensuring consistent, high-quality spaces across all our classrooms and campuses. Pre-K teachers and instructional coaches have engaged in targeted professional learning to define the ideal learning space for our youngest learners. These best practices are now formally documented in our Pre-K Blueprint, which is a definitive guideline for the program. This year, our focus has shifted to intentional interactions within that learning environment. Our educators are participating in multi-session learning series. Teachers and their instructional coaches have formed small cohorts, cross-campus observations. These visits allow them to witness high-quality teacher and student, paraprofessional and student interactions in action, giving our teams practical new ideas that they can immediately implement in their own classrooms. Our pre-K program also utilizes the Creative Curriculum for Texas, which is a research-based model designed specifically to meet the Texas pre-K guidelines. This resource ensures our youngest students receive a high-quality foundational education that sets them up for success. It's inquiry and hands-on. It's centered around exploration and discovery. They learn by investigating topics that are relevant to their lives. This fosters curiosity, problem-solving, critical thinking, all essential skills for the future. They learn through play. We know that play is the most powerful method for young children to acquire practical and essential cognitive, language, and social skills. And it is aligned to our Texas pre-K guidelines, guaranteeing that our instructions meet state expectations, prepare every student for the transition to kindergarten and beyond. And our commitment to early childhood development extends beyond pre-K, as TEA confirms the early learning years and the outcomes they produce continue through 3rd grade. To ensure our students maintain momentum, we have developed a powerful transition tool, the Kindergarten Jumpstart Program. This wonderful 2-week summer program is held in late July at all 8 of our campuses, specifically designed to set our incoming kindergarten students up for success. We are pleased to share that approximately 150 students participated in this valuable transition program. Jumpstart provides hands-on, engaging activities that focus on key functional areas such as fostering student collaboration, introducing STEM concepts, developing language and communication through storytelling and interactive lessons. This program helps children begin to familiarize themselves with their campus environment and staff. And I'm happy to share that we consistently receive positive feedback from our families, with parents reporting their children begin kindergarten more confident and prepared. In alignment with our district scorecard goals, we have established a clear target for early childhood proficiency, which is determined by combining reading and math screener results for students in kindergarten through 2nd grade. As shared in the October board meeting, we began the year with a combined performance of 68% of students performing at or above benchmark. Our end of the year goal is to reach 83% proficiency. We recognize that this is an essential goal. To ensure our success, we have prioritized providing relevant professional learning for our teachers, equipping them with great resources, and delivering job-embedded instructional coaching to provide high-quality support every day. To ensure we meet our proficiency target, we are also making significant investments in instructional quality, specifically through the Science of Teaching Reading, or STR. Understanding that effective reading instruction is the foundation of academic success, we have 36 participants engaged in the Texas Reading Academy. This cohort includes not only our teachers and coaches, but also campus administrators, ensuring that the research-based principles of STR are consistently implemented and supported across every learning childhood classroom. And just for reference, going left to right, you can see all the different topics our participants explore as they go through this year-long series of learning. So the core of the science of teaching reading lies in teaching foundational literacy skills, especially phonics, in a way that is both explicit and systematic. This means we teach these skills directly, following a clear research-based sequence. The instructional clarity is vital because it ensures every student builds a strong, reliable pathway to decoding. While our foundational early childhood focus extends through 3rd grade, we would be remiss not to highlight the crucial work in core literacy in 4th and 5th grades. We utilize an advanced word study and morphology resource that explicitly teaches the meaning of Latin and Greek roots. This specialized instruction successfully bridges the gap from learning to read to reading to learn, equipping students with the annotation strategies and application skills necessary for high school success and readiness for post-secondary pathways. As you can see, our early childhood program meets all of our core values: high quality, respectful relationships, research-based, and continual improvement. I want to thank you guys for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding my presentation.
Forgive me for thinking that kindergartners still took naps. This is really good. It's really good to see that our numbers are still growing. You know, we have other schools opening in our area for these grade levels. So that's good to see our numbers are growing, and seeing what these kids are being taught is very encouraging. Thank you so much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Good work. And I've heard a lot of really good things about the Jump Start program. And we've done it for what, 3 years, 2 years?
I believe we finished up our 4th year.
4th year. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm getting old. All right, so that's really good. Now, did I hear you right saying there's 37 teachers that participate? Is that a substantial increase since the state introduced?
Our participation of staff employees increased about 18% this year.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Yes, thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Dominguez with Communications.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kraft, and members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. Tonight, I'm here to share updates on a facet of our district strategic plan. So on our scorecard for 2023 to 2028, you can see that goal number 4, engagement, aims to get 100% of district families and community stakeholders to be part of a culture of trust where they feel both engaged and valued. Shifting our culture to one that is engagement focused requires a great deal of listening and leveraging. As you're aware, we've done a number of surveys, audits, and have actionable directives that we're now implementing. In Boerne ISD, engagement is everyone's responsibility. Creating a more engaged culture has required that we really dig into the experience our stakeholders and staff are having. One consistent piece of feedback gained over the past 2 years has been the extra burden families and campus staff were experiencing because of cumbersome platforms the district had been using. In order to engage our stakeholders, we have to be able to reach them, and we have to give them a clear and constant channel via which they can reach us. In order to increase engagement via communications, we began to seek out a solution that would best fit the district. Parent Square was selected early in the summer and launched in August after all of our other options to maintain and update our previous Blackboard platform were exhausted. It is the preferred partner of Skyward and syncs with our existing platforms nightly in order to ensure the highest integrity of our data. Initially, we wanted to launch this platform in August in order to cover mass communications, so allowing the district or a campus to reach all of the parents that funnel up to that entity. The launch was coordinated between many departments and experts from this building and on campuses. So we had technology, administration, communications, teaching and learning, and campus partners were part of this endeavor. Parent Square serves now as a singular hub for messaging, event signups, announcements, and more. The platform is intuitive, user-friendly, and already we've seen that our staff enjoy being able to create reminders, messages, and share content more fluidly. While the intention was to wait until fall 2026 to require all campuses to move their content to the platform, a number of our campuses got really excited and decided to launch a year early. So we have some great data for you, which I think is really encouraging. So we feel that this is leading us to the path of being more fully engaging with our community. So as you can see, parents can receive Parent Square messages through email, text, or the app. Some of us use all three. And we have a few campuses who fully launched, which means that they are using it for mass communications, but also all of their teachers are using it to communicate with parents. So that's why some of our data looks the way it does. So you'll see more. Herf, Viola Wilson, Fabra, Cibolo Creek, and Fair Oaks Ranch Elementary have become early adopters. Other campuses have been more slowly transitioned to the platform. You can see that so far we've had thousands of touch points between the district and campuses and families. Parent interaction is a critical component of the culture we're trying to create. From this slide, you can see the level of interaction is estimated to be around 46%, since most parents have 2 users per family. You guys are probably experiencing this in your own homes. One of you is more active than the other parent, maybe, in checking and updating what's going on Parent Square. So we're feeling that we're probably reaching about half of our parents regularly, and they're interacting back with us. That's what this graph shows. So they're liking something, responding to a request, filling something out, and fully engaging with the platform in the way that it's intended. So what's next for us is a full implementation of Parent Square on all campuses by August 2026. We are so grateful to have such great teaching and learning partners. They've been training their own staff to go onto campuses, train CTCs there so that they can help the campus fully and smoothly implement. So that's been a huge win for me since I'm a small department. So I'm very grateful to those folks. We're going to pilot Student Square in spring 2026. This alleviates another pressure point the district was facing, where students and parents who were involved in activities were having to have multiple platforms to communicate with coaches or advisors in those activities. It will all be on Parent Square now. And we are exploring the transition to smart sites in summer of 2026. That would replace our current website host, Final Site, and it's much more user-friendly, and we can do a lot of the really amazing things we want to do on that platform. So we're exploring that option now. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I've enjoyed getting Mr. Wilson at Bernie High School started implementing it right away, and it's nice because you get a text message, and sometimes emails can get lost in the shuffle. So it's nice to get that text message, but also all the messages are banked, so you can go back and you can check other messages. So I've really liked Parent Square, and I'm happy that we're going forward with other initiatives from Parent Square.
The messages actually bank for 7 years. So any communication between a parent and teacher or between the parent and the district, everything is saved for 7 years, which I think is great.
So I've also really enjoyed it of having kids at different schools, and even a daughter who has classes at both high schools. I get all the updates, and so I can be like, oh, I can toggle between the middle school, the high schools to find out what's happening. So I really like that it's at one location versus trying to figure out which email from which principal said what. The other thing I'm very excited about is the sports all being on one, because I might be the mom who forgot to look at one of the apps and didn't pick my son up because I didn't know practice was canceled. So I'm really excited for that all to be in one place. So thank you for working on getting this implemented.
So, I mean, I think I got 3 messages today. I'm sure you got a couple. I know, I love it. I think, the elementary schools are doing great, and I'm excited to see the high schools adopt it and move forward. But like you, I'm really intrigued to hear what Student Square will encompass and how that will look. Can you give us some idea of kind of the functionality, some things that we might be seeing on that?
Yeah, so a good thing to know for us parents is that students 6th grade and above are the only ones eligible to receive messages through Parent Square from the district, or to send messages between themselves and teachers. They need to be at that level, which I think is a really great level of protection. So what we would see is, I believe, if I'm not speaking out of turn, there's an app called Band that's used for sports. There's other sports apps that are used to get in touch with your kids or with their coaches. All of that would be grouped by their enrollment in a group. We would make it a group basically in the platform, whatever activity they're doing, and it would be its own little communication group that the advisor could communicate to. So parents would all receive that, and then they can all talk in that message. It's like a little chat for that group of parents who are affiliated with that activity.
Okay, I'm sure that
Yeah.
just like Parent Square, where you can use the schedule and things like that, and then it can. As a parent, though, can I see what my student might be?
See everything.
Okay.
And a question on that, we were at an event for like our senior citizens in the community, and you were giving them the ability to sign up through Parent Square too, that they can receive the district information. Is that correct?
Yes. So that's Bernie ISD Connections.
Okay.
And we have about 70 folks who've enrolled in that. We're hoping to increase our numbers. The chamber has actually been helping us reach out to other 65 and older groups who don't have children or grandchildren in the district anymore, but want to hear from us. And so we'll be kind of making a stronger push for that in the coming months. But yes, that would enable us to connect with them and also invite them in. We always have opportunities like in our incubator program where we need mentors, or we need, people who have business acumen who can walk alongside our students and teach them a thing or two. So we want to bring those people into the fold and welcome them into our community.
Wonderful. I'm glad we're engaging the community, because I know they also like to attend like our fine art events, our sport events. So this is a great way to communicate all those as well. Thank you.
Yeah, Sarah, thanks for bringing that up, because I think, the vast majority of households, probably 60% of the households, don't have kids in the schools. So, and they're a big part of the voting base, and we need to communicate with them to let them know, because, community newspapers still exist, and some do a more thorough job than others of covering issues, but we need to get the word out about what we're doing. Absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, Dr. Dominguez, you hit the ground running when you came, and I think this is streamlining at its finest. So thank you for simplifying. I have a lot of kiddos in the district, so it does help keep me organized. But I love what you said. I'm going to quote you. To engage, we have to reach them. It sounds simple, but somehow we lose people. And so this is a great way of making our families feel truly like a part of the BISD family. So I think it's kudos to you for your efforts, and I think it's a great program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dominguez. Great presentation.
Thank you.
All right, next we have actions. Mr. Scott?
All right. Let's see. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right. Here to talk about the results of the first report for the 24-25 year, which utilizes 23-24. The first report is the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. That's developed in 1999 by the TVA. That was really implemented for the first time in the 102 year. Talk about that more in a minute. Certainly here to ensure financial accountability and transparency across Texas public schools by evaluating district financial management, solvency, and compliance with state and federal standards. Your rating scale, you can see the 4 ratings there, which range from superior to substandard. The results of the first report for this year was an A, which is a superior achievement. We've had an A for 23 out of the 24 years. This has been the first report was 102 based on 000. And the only year that we did not get an A was in 09, if I remember right, and that was because an indicator at the time was that you earned $100,000 in interest that year, and that's when interest rates really started to fall off, and a number of districts couldn't achieve that. they eliminated that indicator in the following year. You'll see shortly, we'll talk about the 21 indicators that the district had to be graded on in the 24-25 year. Those indicators changed substantially over 24 years that it's been in existence, but regardless of what those indicators are, it does demonstrate if you get a superior rating, excellent financial management accountability, and here is a picture statewide of the first ratings. You can see that a little bit under 85% of the districts received a superior rating. You'll note that if you look at the history of the first report, that has come down over time. TEA has intentionally made that more difficult to obtain that rating. But there are a few districts that did receive substandard. I wanted to show here that the first rating does align with our district improvement plan. Goal 3 is, if I remember that correctly, is that we will achieve 100% of the district's budgeted needs by 2028. In my personal opinion, I believe we achieved that in 25-26 with successful Vader. But there are two strategies under our district improvement plan to achieve Goal 3. One is to achieve an A in the first rating, and the other is to receive an unmodified opinion on the audited financial statements, which we'll talk about more later in the meeting. But that is a part of one of the indicators in the first report as well. As I mentioned earlier, there are 21 indicators. Here is a description of those indicators and what that represents to get a yes, no, or get points. So of the 21 indicators, about half of them are yes, no, and about half of them have a points that you can earn. There are a maximum of 100 points that can be earned. This year, the district earned 96 of 100 possible points. So I'll run through these very, very quickly. Indicator 1, did the district complete their annual financial report and submit it to the TEA timely, which we did. Was there an unmodified opinion on the annual financial report? Yes, there was. Was the district in compliance with all payment terms on our bonds, which we were? Did the district make timely payments to the TRS, to the TWC, to the IRS, and any other government agency, which we were? Indicator 5 was the total net position on the governmental activities column in the statement of net position greater than 0. And we've talked about this a number of times. The statement of net position is the one statement in the annual financial report that we'll talk about a little bit later on, where they treat a school district like a business, and all the different buckets, the general fund, the debt service fund. We put that all in one bucket. We go by the accrual-based method of accounting. So we recognize long-term liabilities, and we recognize a number of things that you don't recognize in any of the other statements that we operate by on a budgetary basis, which includes things like the liabilities determined by an actuary related to our pension and our other post-employment benefits liabilities that aren't truly liabilities of the district. That has resulted in most districts in the state having a negative net position in that statement of position. So TA recognizes that. Your question is, when you take all of those actuarial liabilities out, is it positive? Which it is. So we passed that indicator. Indicator 6 was the average change in assigned and unassigned fund balance over 3 years, less than a 25% decrease. An increase in fund balance at 24, so we certainly passed that one. Indicator 7 was the first one that we didn't get all 10 points, where it talks about, did you have cash on hand and current investments in the general fund sufficient to cover operating expenditures? How the TEA does that is they took a picture in time of all the school districts in Texas and how much cash on hand did you have according to that formula, and the ones that had the most get 10 points, and the ones that had the least get 0 points. And so we've gotten 10 points most of the time in past ones. I'll just say related to the 23-24 school year. If you'll remember, we had the 23 legislature, and that lasted well into the fall. And so the TEA had to take time to do rule writing and figure out how they were going to implement that. And so they didn't give the results of funding until January of 24. We had and the result of the 23 legislature was extreme compression of the tax rate, increase in state funding. We're on what's called Payment Plan 3 in our foundation state funding. It says we get 80% of our state funding by October, right? We get 35% in September and 45% in October. Got those back. Get 80% in those 2 months, and you get 20% following August. Since we didn't figure out that we weren't going to get more state funding until January, TEA said, well, you'll get the balance in August. So we didn't have that in cash in June. That's the reason that cash was a little bit lower, and we got a little bit less points.
Okay, Wes,
Yes, sir.
I realize this is for the 23-24 year, correct?
It is.
Okay, so like this year's budget, back in the time when we got very little state aid, before all the tax compression, we would get 5, 6, 7 million from the state, and that would come mostly in, I guess, August or whenever. But this year, we've already received quite a bit from the state. So between our fund balance of 3 months and the cash came in from the state, I guess I'm projecting a year or two down the road, I would assume we'd be back up with a better score than 8 out of 10.
I think you're going to see a better score in 24-25 next year. And because we didn't have the TA had ironed that out, so we got our state aid more timely in 25, and then with as a result of House Bill 2, state aid for the district going up to in the $30 million range, we got a substantial amount of funding from that in September.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, indicator 8, current assets to current liabilities, which indicates our financial health is stable enough to meet short-term needs. We got 10 out of 10 points there. Indicator 9, we got 10 out of 10 because our general fund revenues equal or exceed expenditures. Thank you for advancing that for me. Indicator 10, did the school district achieve less than a 10% variance in budgeted to actual revenues? That indicator wasn't actually used, but they still score it. We got 10 out of 10 points. They haven't used this for several years, but we have achieved 10 out of 10 in every year to the extent that that indicator actually comes into play. Indicator 11 was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets sufficient to support long-term solvency. We got 10 out of 10, which indicates we our financial structure is stable enough to handle our long-term obligations. Debt management. Indicator 12 is correlation between future debt requirements and the what is the correlation? We got 10 out of 10 because our level of debt is certainly within our assessed property. We haven't overextended ourselves. The example I would give is like a Lamar ISD, hyper-growth district that adds thousands of kids a year, and their growth far exceeded their values, property values to support them. Quite a challenge. That is not the challenge of was the school district, in indicator 13, was the school district's administrative cost ratio equal to or less than the threshold ratio? This is the one other indicator where we didn't get full points. This is the first year we didn't get 10 out of 10 in this. This is also the first, how they score this indicator is they split up the state into several tiers, range from sparse to over 10,000 students, several categories. We've always been in the 4th category. This was the first year that we moved into 10,000 and above. And so we just missed getting 10 points by just a couple of hundredths of a point. I would anticipate that we will hop back into 10 next year. But it is worth noting that we were one of the smaller districts in that range, still almost 10 points. We're at a disadvantage and being the smallest.
Wes, I have a question on number 9.
Yes, sir.
Did the school district's general fund revenues equal or exceed expenditures? Now, according to TASBO, Texas Association of School Business Officials, I believe they did a survey showing that 42% of districts ran a deficit last year, and that 63% are forecasting that this year. Whether that happens or not, remains to be seen. But wouldn't that indicate in the coming year that there'll be a lot of districts getting lower scores in Area 9?
Yes. I think that's true. I think the realities are going to the realities of what's happening is going to make more districts get less points or fail in indicator 9, and that the first report is just going to get harder. All right. Indicators 14 through 18. Did the school district have a 15% decline in the students staff ratio over 3 years? Our student to staff ratio did not decline, so we got full 10 points. Indicator 15, did the school's ADA within the allotted range? Did it fall within the allotted range of the pupil projection? So every 2 years, I have to submit a pupil projection to the TEA, and that's what TEA uses to produce a preliminary summary of finance for what they're going to pay us during the year. That has to be within a certain range, which we have achieved. Indicator 16, did the comparison to PEIMS data or like information in the school's annual financial report result in a variance of less than 3%. So it's important that your what you submit in PEIMS actually agree to the reality of your audit financial statement. And I believe we are, it's a credit to finance staff led by Jocelyn Baumgartner, and certainly to the PEIMS department by Ms. Wolf, that variance has been way less than 1% every year. Okay, I'm sorry. No, it was just me. Feedback, there we go. Okay. Indicator 17, did the external independent auditor report that the annual financial report was free of instances of any material weaknesses? We did not. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next couple of agenda items. We did not have any findings in 23. Test 18, did the external auditor indicate the annual financial report was free of instances of material non-compliance for grants, contracts, and laws related to local, state, or federal funds? We did not have any findings in that area, so we got 10 out of 10 points there. And then find the last 3 indicators. Indicator 19, did the district post the required financial information on its website? And we certainly did. Indicator 20, did the district administration and school board members discuss any changes or impact to funding at a board meeting within 120 days before adopting its budget? And I think we certainly did that multiple times. And did the last indicator, did the district receive an adjusted repayment schedule? We did not receive one of those because we do not need a payment schedule. That is an indication. Sound fiscal management. Receiving a repayment schedule is a definite indicator of a lack of sound fiscal management. And at this time, I will turn it back over to
All right, thank you, Mr. Scott.
Is this the time now for questions?
We're about to open public comment. Did you want to say something prior?
No, I just had a question, Wes, on those 20 districts that got a substandard achievement. Are there consequences?
There absolutely are. A district that receives a substandard achievement would have to present a corrective action plan, depending on the severity of what caused the substandard achievement. There's a number of remedies available to the Commissioner Morath that range from censure to censure. I'm not saying the right word. There's sanctions that can be implemented, and the most severe would be a.
Any other questions? All right, it is 8:32 p.m. At this time, we'll open the first public hearing and take comments from the audience. Does anyone have any comments regarding the report? All right, at this time, at 8:32 p.m., we will close the public hearing. Next, we have consideration and adoption of an order authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds for savings, delegating to district staff to approve related documents and other matters in connection therewithin.
All right, Madam President, you've been provided with a resolution that parameter orders for the execution of refunding for available callable debt. The order will give me the authority to execute the transaction on behalf of the district. The pricing will be tomorrow. We're going to pursue callable debt available on the 2014 bonds that are currently callable, and we're going to pursue callable debt on the 2016 bonds that'll be callable in February. I had a call with the underwriters and our financial advisors on the transaction today. It looks pretty good. We're going to there's somewhere around $80 million available in callable debt. We are going to pursue $48 million of that debt, and we anticipate that the interest savings achieved is going to be in the $15 million range. Most of that is going to be through restructuring. We're going to push the maturities that are available in the 2016s in the early 2040s up to next year. The principal payment in February of 27 will be about $1 on this refund. What that's going to do is going to reduce the total years that these bonds have been outstanding. I remember the 2014 refunding is 2007 debt, and that was set to expire in 36 would be our last principal payment. After this transaction, our last principal payment on that debt will be 2028. On the 2016s, the last principal payment on that is going to be 2047. After this, the last principal payment will be 2044. 2044, and you'll remember at one point in time, 2016s had almost $30 million in the last 3 years. That an advanced defeasement, a small advanced defeasement, about $4.4 million in 2025. Those 16, we're going to do a defeasement of about $14 million in February of 2016. Combined with this, all of that will be knocked out.
That's great. Are the students getting involved this year?
With the Vader, I didn't have time to. I really enjoy having the students be a part of the pricing. And,
Yeah.
And wish we had time to do that, but
With the Vader.
Took time.
I gotcha. Does anyone have any comments?
Yeah, just a few comments. So, by defeasing the 14 series, there were that was from the 2004 bond, which built Champion High School, Cibolo Creek Elementary, that was sold at 3 different times: 04, 07, and I believe 06. 06 has already been paid off. 07, we're going from 30 years down to 21 years. And then the 04 portion of that, which was the largest, that'll be paid off in 29. So a couple more years. So within a couple of years, that will be paid off. But what I find interesting about the 16 series is the $15 million savings in interest. That's over a third of the future interest payments that we have scheduled right now. So we're substantially reducing future interest, which I think is a good thing, as well as reducing the time involved. And then in 27, we'll be able to make additional defeasance, correct?
In 27, we'll be able to make additional defeasance. What we're doing right now with the restructure,
Yeah.
if we're effective, with the change in law where you lose state funding if you defeat, we're making a pivot to short-term restructure, and so everything is a year out. Instead of doing defeasance that year, we're restructuring scheduled debt and taking advantage of all this funding. And so this is effectively the 27 defeasance right now.
Okay.
We can't plan for exactly what's going to happen with your properties. We think your property values, We think we've taken a very conservative approach to this, estimating what levy is going to be in 27. But defeasements will be much smaller, and taking advantage of all of that to do the short-term one-year restructure.
So Wes, with the passing of the Vader, where we took advantage of the 3 golden pennies, then we offset that by a penny decrease in the INS rate. So that impacts that tax collection by about $1 million a year.
$1 million, yes.
So still plenty of capacity to work with paying off the debt early. Good. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you brought that up because with an INS rate of 31.4 cents, I looked at, there's 17 fast growth districts between San Antonio and Austin region, and we would have the lowest INS tax rate of the 17, just barely below East Central. They're like very close. But then there's a few others in the 32.5, 33 range, but then everyone else is high 30s, 40s, even 50 cents. So a substantial difference in the tax rate. And those districts may be fast growth, but they have no leverage. They're running out of room to, if they continue to grow fast, what are they going to do? That's not a good position to be in.
Right. Yeah, just kudos to you and your department and bond council, all that in doing this. $15 million, it's huge. So huge. Half an elementary school.
See what the market yields tomorrow, and I'll report back what.
Pray for low rates.
Yeah.
With that said, I move to approve the district's refunding order.
Second.
Motion by Courtney Daughter Bruce, second by Rich Senna. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have annual comprehensive financial report for the year ended June 30th, 2025.
All right. So you've been provided the annual comprehensive financial report of the ACFR. We're required by Texas state law to present an ACFR for audit by a qualified CPA firm, and then to present that to the public. That is what we're doing now. The ACFR is a pretty sizable document. It's almost 120 pages here, if I remember right. That is composed of 3 sections this year. You'll notice there's kind of a missing 4 square there. One of the unusual things that happened this year was a result of the federal government shutdown. The Office of Management Budget did not issue a called the OMB supplement that's issued every year early in the fall that auditors use to form their 2 opinions that you find in the very back of an ACFR related to federal programs and internal controls of an entity that's on an audit that's been performed in accordance with generally accepted government auditing standards, or GAGAS. The auditors aren't able to issue those 2 opinions because that supplement has not been issued yet. So that section, which would contain the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, and those 2 opinions have not been included in this, but there is still good purpose in going ahead and issuing an ACFR. The transaction will be in one of the very good reasons that everybody that's looking to invest in Bernie ISD is certainly interested in the most recently audited financial information. So we will provide that to them. But it is worth noting that that the three sections, the introductory section, which contains the transmittal letter, a lot of general information about the district, the financial section, which was the bulk of the report, which has the independent auditor's report itself, the management's discussion and analysis, and all the basic financial statements, which would include all the notes to the financial statements. And then at the back, some of the most useful information is the statistical section, which is the 10-year history of a number of different items, excuse me, about the district. The ACFR is going to be published at the link that you see at the bottom of the page, and along with a number of previous ACFRs that will give a pretty good history of the district in total. To me, the ACFR has four stories, four headlines that we want to talk about. And the first one being capital assets. 24-25 represented the peak of the 22 bond authorization, opening Wilson Elementary, the Mitchell Learning Center, the additions at Bernie and Champion High, all libraries that were in the elementary schools. You can find this information in page 55. The capital asset roll forward will give you a picture of that. You can also see the changes in square footage on page 112 in the statistical section that lists all the buildings and all the square footage enrollment associated with those buildings. Here is a picture of page 55, and if you'll note the negative $84 million coming out of construction in progress, where we had accumulated all the costs associated with these construction projects for multiple years, and where that was put into the $79 million in building and improvements and over $5 million in infrastructure. So there was over $104 million in assets placed in service in the 2025 year out of the $165 million authorization. So a lot of activity in 24-25 related to capital assets. The second story of the budget would be the general fund outcome. A very conservative budget was initially adopted with a $5 million deficit, employing the budgetary philosophies of underestimating revenues and overestimating expenditures. The board made amendments during the year that reduced the deficit while also addressing some pretty glaring needs for compensation in our transportation and auxiliary departments. And when it was all said and done, the actual results yielded a surplus of $1.1 million. You can see this clearly in the budgetary comparison schedule for the general fund on pages 74 and 75. That has a column for the adopted budget. We show that $5 million final budget, and then our actual results. The third story of what happened in Bernie ISD in 24-25 would be related to debt service. We had scheduled principal payments of $23.5 million. That included some very intentional planning related to our 22 authorization, where we have paid over almost $13 million in principal related to our 24 bond issue. So we had very little to speak to an earlier point about defeasance. We started this actually in 24-25, right, where we had planned that large principal payment. So we had some monies for defeasance, but much less than we have last year. In 23-24 and in this year, right. You can see what happened with the our debt service on pages 50, 56 and 57 in the notes in our debt roll forward, and you can see the two red circles here. One would be the scheduled payment from the 24 bonds for that $12,890,000, and then our defeasance that we did do related to the 2016s, which we talked about in the previous agenda item. There was a $4.4 million onto $800,000. That was the scheduled payment. You can see in the $5.2 million in that top red circle. All right. The last story and the least interesting one is a new accounting standard that came out. Previously, consideration of a liability related to compensated absences, which would go back to our leave policies. How they were recognized were if you had accumulated leave and we were going to pay that out to you because you had retired or resigned according to policy, and you retired previous to June 30 and we didn't pay you out until after. That was the only time that we would recognize any kind of liability, which we did not ever have a liability to record, because those are few and far between. The new accounting standard says that anything that an employee has earned needs to be recognized as a liability. And so what that resulted in was, a prior period adjustment of almost $9 million. And the ending balance was over $7 million. And what you see in activity is payout of leave during the year of about $3 million. And that's what I want to emphasize about this standard is this is not new debt, and in my professional opinion, this is not debt at all. But policies did not change. It's a new accounting standard that makes something differently and makes a user of the financial statements aware of the impact of the leave policy. Those are the 4 stories of the annual comprehensive financial report. I do have in front of me a copy of the 25 financial report, and it's 113 pages. And I could read through it all now, or if y'all have any questions or comments.
Yeah, Mr. Scott, I'll just stop you right there and just kind of move forward if I can. Just from the Finance Committee standpoint, I just wanted to comment. When we met last week, I kind of alluded to it in the minutes earlier. Adam McCain from Weaver was at our Finance Committee meeting. Very complimentary of the district, very complimentary of the ACFR that the district compiles and puts together, and then their auditor's letters becomes a part of that. So no problems that they aired at all. It was a very good report from Mr. Payne. So, and Garrett, you and Rich were there too. So, any other comments?
No, I'd echo what you said. It was a solid report.
Definitely get an A for transparency. I'm learning all the tiers of our financial accountability. So, great work.
Hey, Mr. Scott, great report. This is all great news, good information. Remind me, we had $165 million authorized in bond debt from the 2022 bond. Do you recall how much of that we've paid off as of today? I know at one point I'd made a comment about we were on track to pay that $165 million off if we kept going the way we were going in about 10 years. Is that still the case? How much have we paid off today?
I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I believe it's like 43 million. Excuse me, if I'm not mistaken, 43 million in principal.
Okay, so about 26% in 3 years, and actually we didn't even take out some of that debt until the last year or two. We didn't take it all out in 2022. That was just when we voted to take it out.
Yeah, we issued the last amount, which was 55. I believe we issued in 24.
Yeah, so just last year. So so we are on track, I would say, at about 10 years roughly, if we keep going at that pace. And I think we said earlier that we have the lowest INS tax rate of any fast growth district in the San Antonio and Austin MSAs. So we're doing that with the lowest tax rate of any fast growth district in the San Antonio and Austin MSA. So
yes.
I congratulations to you and your team. I think, the way you guys have structured these bonds, it's just, I don't know how much in interest savings that's saving to the taxpayers, but it's tens of millions, if not, over $100 million, in the 2022 bond, and all the other ones that we're starting to structure this way and refund as well. So, I would just have that comment. Also, I would reiterate, your comments about the ACFR. I mean, a lot of the data that you hear that people say out in the community and social media and stuff, you think, man, those people clearly haven't read the ACFR. And I'm glad that you put that hyperlink up here on your slide presentation, because a lot of the stuff that people are curious about is in this report, especially from pages 89 through the end. There's a lot of great graphs and tables that show just numbers after numbers, and really easy to understand and good stuff. So I would encourage everybody to go read this report.
Well, to your point, Garrett, about the stuff you read on social media, in the 22 bond campaign, people were saying, well, they're going to do a 40-year bond at 5%, but our rates have fluctuated between 3.12 and 3.85, and we've paid off 26% 3 years. That doesn't sound like a 40-year note to me. And the gap in what we will pay in interest is in the tens of millions compared to what those folks were saying. So I think we need to do a good job of communicating to the community how we're managing this, and not to listen to that nonsense, you know. But I have a question for you, Wes. The last 3 or 4 months you've come here with a joke, and you've had no joke today. So I have a joke for you, Wes. You gave a very calm presentation. Why are accountants always so calm? Because they have strong internal controls.
On that note, it is getting late.
Yeah.
But Mr. Scott, I want to say I thank you. I mean, I've seen an audit. It seems like every meeting we get another audit, and it always reflects a great story upon our district, and you're the huge part of that. And for that, I think you're the huge part of that Vader passing was being able to say how well we are financially conservative and how we run our finances. So thank you for stewarding that ship and leading us in that direction. I've been very, very impressed from day one about how we run our finances. Running a business and running this, it's been very impressive to watch you work. So thank you.
Thank you. I wish I could take all the credit for that. Jocelyn Baumgartner, Anna Webb, Eddie Ashley. There are a number of folks in the business department that do a really good job. Every department leader, every member of ELT is extremely conscious of what they need to do budgetarily for the district, and it's very much appreciated. And administrative leadership and the board, we talked about paying off the 04 bond early in every issue, right? Where it was ranged from 21 to 25 years, and I've seen that consistently over time. That was way before I was here, and I can't take it. That's consistent good leadership and consistent good administration.
Thank you, Mr. Scott, and thank you, Mr. Ashley.
I move to approve the annual comprehensive financial report for the year ended June 30th, 2025, as presented by the administration.
I second.
We got a motion by Carlin Fryer and a second by Sarah Falconberry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All approve, same sign.
They never let me make a motion.
Motion carries.
Mr. Scott, do you need some water?
I absolutely do. Thank
Yes. I was about to run it down.
And lastly, Mr. Scott has monthly financial report and board action on financial matters directly related to those reports, including budget amendments, investments, donations, and tax collection reports.
Good evening, everybody.
Oh, good to see you.
The results of operations for the fiscal year 25-26 through October 31st. That report has 4 components. The first one is the budgetary comparison schedule report that reflects the results of operations a third of the way through the year. The district, the story of the budgetary comparison schedule report for me is 2 items. One is that the district received $11 million in state foundation funding, and that was in addition to the $15 million that we received in September of the $34 million that we're going to get in foundation this year. So that $11 million is in line with our expectations. and that we developed in the budget adoption process. Now, that's not a. I'm happy that we got it. Doesn't mean we're changing anything budgetarily, right? The other story is the Child Nutrition Fund. It had a $10,000 surplus. If you remember last year, I don't think we reached a surplus until February, March. We had some initial capital contributions that we made related to point-of-sale software and hardware beginning of that year. And so very happy to see the Child Nutrition Fund in the black by October. That is good. The second component of our monthly financial reports is the budget amendment report. That's an easy one because there are no budget amendments to consider in this month, so that's a report full of zeros. The donation report is the third component of our report. That donation report shows that there's over $58,000 in donations in the month of October, highlighted by $6,200 from the Van Rob PTO for student field trips. We appreciate every dollar an hour and donated good that comes to the district on behalf of our students. And the last component of our monthly financial reports is the tax collection report. This is the month for tax collections. We collected over $78 million of our levy in October. That included over $2.4 million in discounts where taxpayers took advantage of the 3% early pay discount. So $2.4 million in taxpayer savings. That's a good story for the taxpayers of Boerne. That represents almost over 69% of our levy, and that is an increase over the prior year. There are questions or concerns or comments about the October financial reports. I would be happy to entertain those at this time.
Just that, our collection in October went down about a half a point last year, but it's back up, which is good to see, probably because interest rates, they haven't come down that much. So I'm actually surprised that that's the case, but I was remiss this year. Normally I'm in there on October 31st. I want that 3%, but I forgot. So I paid it in November. So I only got 2%. But, hey, a savings is a savings. And how many districts in the state offer the early payment discount?
About the same amount that has received an A for 6 years.
So about 30 districts offer, and I don't understand why they don't offer it, but whatever. So saves our taxpayers money. That's a good thing.
They'll teach you to go on vacation again.
Yeah, I was on vacation and then I forgot. So I'll fix it next year. I'll pay it early.
Fun fact on food services, I was looking at that cost, and Mr. Ashley shared that we had sold 124,000 meals in September.
Dr. Kraft had noted many times during our community presentation that the largest employer in Kendall County and we're the largest restaurant runners.
Absolutely.
The stats, I'd like to put the stats here and come discuss them at some point in time. What our child needs.
Well, thank you. Does anybody else have any comments?
Sarah, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the budget amendments, donation report, and tax collection reported as presented.
I second.
All right, a motion by Sarah Falkenberry, second by Dallas Pipes. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Stretch.
At our next, for future business, at our next regular meeting, we will be approving the 2026-2027 school calendar. Looking forward to that. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Courtney,